Yeah, we rocking the Michael Strahan today, man. Shout out to MSX, Michael Strahan. You the GOAT. I don't think you watching this though. But we're here, and Giants fans, it is that time of the year where we kind of stop, pause, think about the team, realize there's certain things about the team that need to change or be fixed, and we're all left wondering with a bunch of questions. And I think the biggest question by far, not only this year, but for a couple of years, has been, what are we doing with Daniel Jones? And to be quite honest with you, with the hiring of Joe Schoen, our new general manager from the Buffalo Bills, the Giants need to make a decision on Daniel Jones, and they need to make a decision really, really soon. Now, can Joe Schoen and Daniel Jones coexist? Yeah, sure they can, but we all know the implications of what a brand new general manager brings to a franchise, especially a franchise that has been rebuilding for the better part of 4 to 5 years now. They're technically on their second version of the rebuild, and they still are not sure about what is up with that position. Now, I'm not going to get too much into it, but we all know that usually when a new general manager comes to a team, not only do they want their own team, but they want their own quarterback. And yes, Joe Schoen has said that he's a believer in Daniel Jones or something of the sort over the past couple of days, but that doesn't mean much. It doesn't hold much weight in the NFL, especially in the NFL where a couple of years ago, at that time, new head coach Cliff Kingsbury said that he was a fan of Josh Rosen, and Josh Rosen is a guy, and not even a week later drafted Kyler Murray. So let's talk about Daniel Jones in the first place. We all know who Daniel Jones is. If you're a Giants fan, you definitely know who Daniel Jones is. 6th overall pick, came in as a rookie under I think it was second-year head coach Pat Shermer, a guy that was very offensive-minded, on a West Coast-style offense that suited Daniel Jones very well because in his rookie year, he did look like the real deal. I won't kid with you guys. He had 26 total touchdowns, 24 of them being passing in just 12 games. He did have a lot of turnovers, most of them being fumbles. Not too bad on the interception front, but the problem was with Daniel Jones that year was the historic rate at which he was turning football over. That being said, he was also technically scoring the football at a historic way as well, if you consider it for rookie year, because at that time, the rookie touchdown record was very close to being broken by Daniel Jones. That touchdown record, of course, was set by Baker Mayfield just the year before, and it was broken just the year after by Justin Herbert. But nonetheless, Daniel came in as a guy that was slinging the football, really kind of a gunslinger type quarterback that would take chances down the field especially, and we have faith, or had faith I should say, that he could sort of get us out of a pinch and put up a lot of points for an offense that was doing quite well in just his first year. Of course, in the years since, it's been almost the exact opposite. Took a major step back in 2020 and then even in 2021 under his second offensive coordinator and second head coach, this time a new regime headed by Joe Judge and offensive coordinator Jason Garrett on the offensive front there, where he took a step back in terms of throwing the football all over the place and attempting to score, and more so trying to fix his turnovers, which I definitely think was instruction from his coaches, whether it's Judge or Garrett. I'm putting blame on both of them. They took away that mentality from him, which, yes, did bring a little bit of turnovers, but the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that Daniel fixed his fumbling problem. He cut it literally in half in his second year. It was the interceptions that were still an issue, but that would come with being somebody that takes chances down the field, and they almost took that away from him as well in his second year. And if it was even possible, the offense production and DJ as well got even more conservative in the third year just this past season, even though they got, better weapons and whatnot. It's just resulted in worse production. Now, of course, there's a lot of other factors that play into it. It's the offensive philosophy of Joe Judge that he brought, which was always seemed to be play to not lose the game instead of playing to win. And he really wanted to play an older school than the 1980s at some point, it seemed, type of football. We constantly see him put his body on the line. Now, Daniel Jones, of course, I'm talking about, not Joe Judge, in order to win the game. And he tried to do everything, and I mean everything in his power, to get this team to win. But there were just too many problems, whether it be with the offensive line, where his only good offensive lineman in his 3 years here has been Andrew Thomas, and he's only got Andrew Thomas in 2020. And Andrew Thomas in 2020 is nothing compared to the great offensive lineman that he is in 2021. The constant injuries to his weapons. It always seems like he never has that full slate of wide receivers, tight end, and even running back at his, helm to use in games. I don't know if there's still a game yet where all of them have played one just healthy, or a quarter where they were all just healthy. And of course, he himself has dealt with the injury problem. Daniel Jones is consistently injured sometime around the November or December months in the season. And that's not even talking about the coaching problems. But this is not supposed to be a DJ video, so I'm not going to spend much more time on that and that spiel. This is more so what we should do with him video. What is the future of Daniel Jones with the Giants moving forward? The first thing we need to talk about is the neck injury, the mystery behind the neck injury, and the fact that the Giants are 100% hiding from us, the fans, the severity of that neck injury. When he got injured, there were so many conflicting stories that came out about it. Of course, there was a leak from the Giants party, a guy that was self-titled the Carpenter. Of course, I'm not talking about the Twitter Carpenter guy, which was just a parody account made because of the real Carpenter. This guy came out and said, way before the Giants revealed to us that there was a neck injury to Daniel Jones, that he was going to be out for the rest of the season, and they were going to try to sell as long as possible that he had a chance to come out. And that's exactly what happened down the stretch. Daniel Jones' last game played was Week 12 against the Philadelphia Eagles. We haven't seen him since, despite them trying to sell us that Daniel Jones could come back for Week 13, 14, and even 15 before, I think they let Jake Fromm start at some point, and a lot of fans realized that he's not coming back for the season. That report, or that leak, I should say, more than a report, it's more of a leak, a whistleblower, if you will, whatever you want to call it. It also suggested that the neck injury was a lot more severe than the Giants were suggesting. It hinted at the fact that it could be something potentially career-ending. And what is worrying is the fact that the last time we had an update on this neck injury with Daniel Jones was 2 weeks ago, during the regular season at least, where the Giants say that his neck is just progressing in the rehab process. They gave us almost nothing to work with, and that was Daniel himself also just said, I'm doing good, it's progressing, there's a healing process that takes time, trying to stay diligent with my rehab and treatment, working with the guys here, but everything is going well, and he feels good. And Daniel, I appreciate you trying to be tough for us, even outside the games and whatnot, but honestly, it's not much to work with, and we're not sure if you would be back even next season to play as the Giants quarterback. And that's the thing people don't realize. With a neck injury, it's very serious. That's connected to your spinal cord, directly to your brain, directly down all the way your back. It affects the way you walk and things like that. It's not something to be taken lightly. And that leads us now to this. It is his 4th year, and even though the neck alone could be the decision maker for Daniel's future, and even though he has not had a fair shot with the Giants, it's been completely unfair. The guy has been dealt probably the worst hand that a rookie / developing into a young quarterback could be given in the NFL, in my opinion. It's not fair that in year 4 that we're still questioning whether or not he is the Giants quarterback. And when I say that, I mean it's not fair to us as fans. It's not fair to the Giants organization, because we should have an answer by now. But it's also not fair to him because, once again, the hand that he was dealt. But that's just the fact. It is a problem that this is still a question. And Giants fans need to realize that it's a problem that this is still a question. We are no longer in an NFL where, you wait 4 years to see if a quarterback is your guy. It is fast-paced for a reason. You see quarterbacks develop at faster paces for a reason. You see them hit their strides quicker than they did just 10 years ago. It's the way they develop now. And it's the way the league is moving. And it's probably not for the best, but it is what is happening in real time. So there are 3 options moving forward with Daniel Jones. And I will say right now, all 3 of them are very viable options. The first one being that we keep him for this year and the future moving forward, and we give him yet another chance to try and prove himself to the Giants. But this time, hopefully with a better hand, hopefully with a fair shot. Granted, in this scenario, the new GM, Joe Schoen, and the new coaching staff, front office, whatever the deal is, they try and fix the O-line to the best of their ability using this draft and free agency, and they try to get a bit more stable on the offensive side of the football. That 4th year and, basically beyond, he's the franchise guy. A second option that's very similar also sees that happening, but it's a 1-year commitment. Daniel will essentially be on a prove-it year. We will have a very short leash with him. We might even bring in better backup quarterback so that it could sort of light a fire under him as competition. But in this 1 year commitment, it's very clear that he needs to do something now, or we are replacing him in the 2023 draft. And then in the third option, or I guess you could call it number 2, with the first 2 being 1A and 1B, it's that you replace him immediately. Whether it's that by trade, by cutting him, whatever the case may be, you just replace him immediately and you move forward with getting your franchise quarterback. The thing is, though, all three of these options need to be decided very, very soon and very quickly. You cannot afford to dilly-dally with this, especially now that you have a new general manager. You're gonna have now a third regime in the rebuild at this point, and the second for Daniel Jones. The longer you wait, the longer whatever trade value he has is gonna diminish. The longer you wait, the harder it's gonna be to decide. The harder it comes when draft time. You don't know what you're gonna do. You might be wasting precious scouting time and whatnot. It's better to decide it early and get it done now. And I want to know what you guys think as well. Earlier in the video, I popped up a poll to see where you stand, and I'm gonna pop up a poll now, kind of pre and post. The goal of this video was not to change your minds on anything. It was just to give my opinion on it and what I think the Giants should do. And I want to see what your opinion of it is after hearing these options. But that is it for now. I will definitely be looking at the comments, looking to see what you guys think, and I'll definitely be looking at the poll results as well. I think number 2 is the best option. It gives a fair shot to him, and it also gives a fair shot to the Giants with a way out for the future. So put your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thank you for checking out my channel, The Hub, here on Giants YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you hear every time I put out a video. Like it, share, and subscribe, and I'm out.